Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by Sportsman's Warehouse, Counts Marine, the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, and Avery Superstore.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, and I hope you good folks in Brownsville on 1520 AM and 95.3 FM. And, of course, we got a great audience out of Jackson, Tennessee on News Talk 101.5, and of course, right here in Memphis on ESPN 790. I've been looking forward to getting this young man back with us on the show. Glad to hook up with him, and I think he's a great addition to today's show. And I know Ron Wong is excited about talking to John Cox because
the Tin Man.
Yeah, he is that, but he's a man that doesn't mind showing some emotion. I mean,
no,
I like a guy.
Not at all.
I like a guy that sheds tears when he catches 2 bass in the last 10 minutes. You know. Hey, we got John Cox on with us talking about the FLW Tour at Lake Chickamauga. He won that big baby at $100,000, but also he's got a commanding lead in Angler of the Year for the FLW of 1 point. Hey, good morning, John. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Always good to talk to you. Let's talk first about Chickamauga because it's a pretty amazing finish. I think you were quoted as saying, "I can't believe I won."
Yeah.
So talk about that, then we'll talk a little bit more about what's down the road. But talk about the win and what it meant to you there at Dayton, Tennessee.
Every time we get to go to Dayton, it's always real special to me. I really enjoy fishing the lake, and it's got a lot of Florida strain bass in it and stuff. So they kind of act, similar to what they do in Florida.
Oh yeah.
And then I just love when I get there. The days, even the days during practice. The day's over before I know it, and man, I'm just it was just so amazing running around that lake and not really having an actual spot and just fishing. How amazing, how good that lake really is, that you can just pull in and fish anywhere and catch fish.
Well, talk about the finish now. Let me talk about the finish first. I want to hear about this last 10-minute deal. So talk about that.
Right. So what was crazy is all week we were catching a lot of fish. The last day was a super struggle. I think I had 2 fish in the boat. I just wasn't getting around any big ones. 2 decent fish. I just wasn't finding any big fish. And as soon as the live show ended, I was working like a 4 or 5 pounder. And as soon as they were like, "Oh, the live show's over," that fish ate, and I caught it, and it was and right then the wheels started turning. I had very little time left.
Yeah, very
and
little.
I remembered this one section of trees that I fished when I won an open there the time before last, the Bass Open, and I haven't hit them all week. And I was like, I got just enough time. I might be able to run there and make a couple casts. And I ran to those trees, and the very first one I came to, I hooked the giant one and ran out to the river channel and come off.
Oh.
And I just right then I was like, I felt like I lost the tournament.
Yes.
And then the very next tree I threw to, I caught a 4 pounder. And then I ran right back to that one. I lost that big one and caught another 4 pounder, and it was time to go. And it was just, it was so, man, I'm telling you, the few tournaments I won, not knowing and coming in, it's been exciting. But that one there, it had me so worked up, and I was coming back, and I was just a wreck coming into
a wreck.
It was.
John, you're noted as a shallow water specialist,
right?
And Chickamauga, this time of the year when this tournament was going on, typically the fish are starting to move out on secondary ledges or main river ledges and everything. But they were all community holes, it seems like. And, you tried it. But did it surprise you that you were able to fish your strengths in that tournament, in that shallow water?
I really was. The couple other times, we've been there, close, and I really found it's really hard to make something shallow bite last that long, And I think, it just, you got to look at it. I only caught, I caught like I think 7 keepers that last day.
Wow.
So it wasn't like I was killing them or anything.
Yeah.
I wasn't getting many bites, and then. So yeah, it was just, man, I don't know. It was just a special tournament, man. It was amazing.
What kind of baits were you using? What kind of lures were you using?
So what I was mostly doing the first day, I did a lot of sight fishing. I was using a Berkeley Max Scent General,
right.
And I was just hooking it wacky rig. I had it on a Lou Garcia spinning rod and Lou Garcia Premier Reel. I had it on my 10-pound fire line to 10-pound 100% Berkeley fluorocarbon leader. And I would just kind of throw that thing around, around the bed and fish and stuff. And then, as the tournament went on, the water came up.
Right.
And
Okay.
I wasn't able to see those fish anymore. And that's when I pulled out the half-ounce Dirty Jig swim jig, and I put a Max Scent meaty chunk on the back of it, all white. And, man, that caught some key fish on those that day. We had all those storms come in. And,
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, but those were pretty much the two tactics that got it done that tournament. I mean, it was, it was pretty simple.
Well, we're talking to John. We're talking to John Cox. There's nothing simple about what he does. I can tell you that for a fact. But about his victory over at Lake Chickamauga back in early May. And I love that General. I like the General. Any bait called the General is okay with me. You can't get much higher than that. So now,
Right.
So John, talk to us now. You're getting ready to head to another place that you really like. That's Lake Champlain up in upstate New York. That's going to determine not only you want to win the thing, but there's that little Angler of the Year contest is in there too. So. Talk about the challenges as you face up there, and getting prepared for that.
Yeah, having it up there. If I could choose a place to have the grand finale, that's where I'd have it.
That's where you like. Yeah.
Yeah. So the challenging part of it is that lake. Ounces separates 20 places.
Right. Yeah.
So it is gonna. We're gonna have to. Hopefully find just a little bit better quality fish than everybody else, and then just hope, a 3-pounder is very common there, but, a 3 3/4, 4 1/4, those fish go a really long way in that tournament. And, if we can find 5 of those a day, and, that would be the ticket.
Did you hear what he said, Ron? He said 3 1/4. That quarter is very important.
Yeah, that really is.
A lot of people don't realize how much that means. So
and up in that lake, the smallmouths and the largemouths, all play a role. I mean, you target one of them, and typically the largemouth will weigh a little bit more there, won't they?
Yeah, it really depends. Like when we get there, and a lot of the fish the smallmouth are starting to come off beds and
That's
stuff.
right. That's correct.
The largemouth will definitely be a lot heavier. If we were there a little bit earlier, then the smallmouth would be, and then if we were there late in the fall, I think that's when the smallmouth weigh a little heavier.
Right.
So yeah, you're right. And the largemouth they're definitely going to come into play. I really think it's going to probably be, a mixed bag kind of thing. And, you just never know there. Sometimes, someone wins off like one, specific spot. And, a lot of times this time of year that we're going, someone's won, moving around some. So, we'll see.
It's worth a lot of money, but it's June the 27th through 30th out of Plattsburgh, New York. And out of that will not only come a winner, and it's been done before. People have won back-to-back. My good friend Mark Rose has done it. So let's, there's possibilities, but there's a little other thing on the line there too. John, talk about that. What it would mean? Yeah, what would it mean for John Cox to win that Angler of the Year?
Oh man, that's your goal every season.
Yes.
I think all these guys, go out there and you fish every time, and the Angler of the Year is in the back of your mind the whole time, and it's one thing to lose an individual one tournament, but when you're right there at Angler of the Year, and then a couple times I got second there, it's like losing all 7 tournaments all at one time. So it's pretty rough. I don't want to feel that again. So hopefully it'll go good, and man, I'm really looking forward to it.
And then, of course, all of us are looking forward to Lake Hamilton, Hot Springs, the FLW Cup, August the 9th through the 11th. And, of course, Ron will be there representing Outdoors of Larry Ray. And, man, you got a lot of really things coming up for you that could be life changers.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean the cup. Just anytime you can make that cup, it's always something special. And going to Hot Springs, I love going there. It's a great
thought you did. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean it's a really good event to come to, and and changing it up, putting us on Hamilton. I mean, it's gonna be a grind.
I think that's a great. I think that's a great move.
Even I've caught fish on Lake Hamilton. I know the difference between Lake Hamilton and Ouachita, but I know how deep Ouachita is and how big it is. And Lake Hamilton is kind of squeezed in there around Hot Springs, but it'll be, I think, a real good venue for the public. I don't know about you guys, but the public will be able to feel up close and personal that with you guys. John, I appreciate you. Ron, any lasting questions?
Other than, John, a lot of people know you as really gaining a lot of fame early with a Crestliner aluminum boat.
Yeah.
But you're also now running a glass boat. You're running a Phoenix boat now,
really?
Correct?
Okay.
No.
A Falcon.
All I have is right now I have a PT20 Crestliner.
Okay.
And then when I go up north, I have the Crestliner that's it's a 1850 Bass Hawk. And
the Bass Hawk.
It's more of like a walleye style with a bass layout on the inside of it.
Okay.
Well, I tell you what, any boat you're in, just catch fish.
Well,
okay,
that's a good one.
Right.
Hey, John, we appreciate you being on Outdoors with Larry Ray, and I know Ron look forward to seeing you down there at Hot Springs.
And we may try to have you back on before the Forrest Wood Cup to talk about it.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, we always like to talk to you, John. Thank you, buddy. Good luck, okay?
All right,
talk to you soon. All right, John Cox. All right, let's take a break, come back, and we're not going to necessarily talk fishing, but we're going to talk a little fishing about
I'll tell you,
the effects of the floods on the Arkansas River.
Right.
Yeah, we'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry.